Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you Game 2 of the finals for the Go4SC2 number 36 between BratOK and Socke. Action getting started here on Lost Temple. This is BratOK's map choice, as he did lose Game 1. Socke is up 1-0 in this best of 5 series, and this technically is a rematch of the August final, the Go4SC2 August final quarterfinal match between BratOK and Socke, and in that series, BratOK took the series 2-1. It was on Lost Temple that BratOK and Socke played out this really epic game. BratOK was technically behind in a good amount of the game, but used some really strong strategy and a lot of hit and runs to force Socke to spread his army out all over the map and just picked off the Colossus with the Viking during that time. A very great game, highly recommended if you haven't seen it yet. The replays are online and it has been casted. Actually, the funny thing was I casted the games. I've been trying to cast the weekly cups as much as possible, and I think that HD actually casted the game a little bit after I had posted online, which I did not know about. But I think he found the games to be very epic as well. And so definitely take a look at the cast, whichever one you prefer, but some really great games played from both players. Right now, BratOK, I think, tried his very best to get his harassment going in the first game, but Socke just threw down as a precautionary matter once that harassment really began. Threw down enough cannons to kind of hold that off while he could focus on engaging his army, his main army directly at BratOK. And it looks like Socke right now going to go for that 12 gateway 15 on the assimilator, so a little bit different and a little bit later to get out an earlier economic advantage, just ever so slight, but able to kind of keep that up his entire game as well. BratOK now going to be running in and scouting, and Socke typically favors, although they are in the close position at the 3 and the 6 o'clock for this game, so it should be pretty interesting to see whether or not he wants to chrono boost or even pump out a zealot in the beginning to apply any sort of pressure, or if he's going to go with his standard stalker only build, which looks like he will be doing this game as well. So no crazy early pressure from Socke in this game, and just going to be warding off that SCV, driving it out with the probe at this point. Meanwhile, the probe is back in the base of BratOK, just kind of running around, getting as much sight as possible before it is being forced to be driven out by the Marines. And factory now going down for BratOK. Might be interesting to see if he tries to fly it in again like he did in the last game. That served him very well for a short amount of time, as he was able to hide his factory in the grass. And BratOK typically does not really likes to go bionic against Protoss opponents, and I think favors the bionic, the MM much more than any sort of tank unit, because he's a very micro-oriented player who does a lot of really great hit and run strategies and kind of wears down his opponent before finally making a very strong push in. So right now this probe, if it's going to get cut off, just exploding right there, taking fire from the Marines. And this SCV out here right now, it's just kind of keeping alive, might be running in for a later scout to see what is going on. Socke looks like this game going to be throwing down that robotics facility. In the last game, he did go for a fast expansion, and I think because of the proximity and the potential harassment of the cliffs on Lost Temple, not going to be doing that this game. So it looks like 3-gate robo for Socke right now, and factory is going to be going down. Socke will be able to scout that out, and great job just running in that lone stalker. Knows that he can absorb a bit of damage from the Marine fire and just run away and have it fully replenished. The shields can run right back up. So BratOK going to be throwing down that precautionary bunker yet again while he is building up his 1-1-1. Gets a reactor down onto his barracks and pumping out just a ton more Marines right now. Looks like he might actually be going for a Banshee harass at the moment. Maybe switching things up a little bit for this game. Factory now right here on the edge of nowhere. Not really sure what it's going to do. Might be trying to scout out something, and now he's just moving it. Might be landing it on the cliff, and could be some cool cliff siege tank play, although that wouldn't really last for too long once the observer does come out for Socke at that point. And Socke right now going to be going directly for that Colossus, and so it looks like 2-gate into Colossus build for him, as he knows that he can count on the fact that BratOK is not going to be going Terran Tech right here. And no, it looks like the Raven is going to be coming out for him right now. So same play from BratOK at this point. Doesn't really want to change anything. He does not want that Observer scouting his base at all. And the Raven with the PDD, very, very effective against the Stalkers. Right now, the Sacrificial Factory, or not even really Sacrificial, but the big Scouting Factory walking in will see that the Robotics Bay has gone down pretty early, and that Colossus is coming out pretty quickly as well. So might be interesting to see if any play changes for BratOK. Looks like he is going to go with Marauders a little bit sooner than he did in the last game, and yet even swapping things out right now so that once that Raven does pop out, he will just constantly pump out more Marauders at this point. Stim is being researched as well, and just the factory just moving out across. If he can get out, no, it's already in the red, so if he doesn't repair this factory will explode. It looks like he does keep his SCV, and maybe that's why that SCV was just sitting there, so that it could eventually come down and repair this factory as it lands at the moment. So SCV with factory repair duty. More scouting from Socke at the moment, and I don't think he's even pumped out an Observer on the field. So just knowing that that Raven is there right now, and going to be testing the front with his Colossus and Stalker combination right here, trying to get in there before BratOK can mass up even more Marauders onto the field. So right now, just going to be going down the front. Thermal Lance not yet researched, so not a huge range for the Colossus at the moment, but still able to throw down a great force field and traps a bunch of the units. PDD finally going down for BratOK, as I think he just had enough mana at that point to really throw it down there, so nullifying a lot of that attack from the Stalkers. But in that exchange, it definitely looks like Socke was able to come out ahead. So great timing from Socke to really move in there. The factory has been fully repaired, and BratOK not just going to be keeping this up in the air. Socke building his warp gate, his third warp gate out on the edge, just in case anything tries to land right here or do any sort of crazy damage. Meanwhile, it looks like he's going to be reinforcing back up here at the front. PDD finally does go down, and the Vikings are in the air, but it looks like this might be a little bit too much for BratOK to handle at the moment. Forced to retreat right now and just trying to take as many shots as possible to the Colossus. The Colossus don't even have Thermal Lance at this point, and more Marauders are coming out. But while the Stalkers just focus fire down, the Vikings in the air, and Socke just pulling out very far ahead right now against BratOK. So great timing attack from Socke, and very smart play for him just to go right into that fast Colossus to push in. Knew that BratOK would be caught a little bit off guard, and definitely catches him off. Doesn't even have Thermal Lance research, and is still able to do a significant amount of damage to his opponent. So Socke just showing that he, after playing BratOK for a bit, after, watching a lot of his replays, has a great and very strong feel for his opponent. So a very dangerous opponent to go up against right now, and a GG from BratOK at the moment. So it looks like Socke is going to be going up 2-0 in this best of 5 series, and just really great play. Looking back at the base, BratOK was trying to do something with this factory, or maybe coming into scout yet again, but just not enough. So some really great smart play from Socke, and looking forward to the rest of this series. This has been JCS StarCraft signing off.